Hey, well, welcome to 99.6 The Howl. For the uninitiated, this is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes, and they're in the playoffs. They're in a spot with 3-point commanding lead over the Minnesota Wild. A crazy week. I mean, it started off terribly for the Coyotes, getting humiliated, just utterly trounced upon by the Chicago Blackhawks and their former teammates in Brendan Perlini and Dylan Strome. Perlini with a hat trick. Coyotes looked really bad that game. They looked like last year's Coyotes before the new year took over. And defensive breakdowns by just the whole committee, especially the defensive core. Fel Chychrun and Goligoski were kind of the big culprits. And Talkett decides to scratch Jacob Chychrun because of it for the St. Louis game and the Anaheim Duck game, which a little surprising. Maybe I'll go into a little bit more later. But they bounced back with a back-to-back win against the St. Louis Blues, winning 3-1, and then another win at home ice against the Anaheim Ducks. And we'll talk about it right now. Talkett decides to scratch Chychrun for both of those wins. He puts Ilya Lyubushkin in the lineup, who's more of a gritty big man D who clears the house and is hard on the boards. And the problem now is with Jason Demers healthy is that if Talkett wants that big body defensive presence on the back end, he's going to have to scratch a pretty quality player. Right now it's Jacob Chychrun, which I disagree with. I think Alex Goligoski should be scratched before Chychrun. He's made more blatant and apparent mistakes and consistent mistakes more than Jacob Chychrun, who I felt just had a rough game against Chicago, and the whole team had a rough game. So I wouldn't put it too much on Chychrun himself. But obviously Chychrun, Goligoski is the veteran. He was an alternate captain last year. He makes a lot of money, so maybe it's bad optics if Talkett decides to scratch Goligoski, but I'm not the coach. It's moving on from there. I want to thank Oliver Ekman-Larsson for this wonderful season in his first season as a captain. Quietly reaching above 10 goals. He got his 11th goal against Anaheim. I didn't know he was already reaching 10. He reached 10 with the empty netter against St. Louis and then 11 against Anaheim. But another nice offensive season for Oliver. Great leadership. I really liked how he's presented himself and how he's carried himself. He's learned a lot from Doan. And I'm not just saying that, and people just don't say it. You can clearly see by the way Oliver talks and the way he holds himself and the way he acts. He's really taking what Doan taught him to heart and presenting it to the rest of the team. Hinostroza has been playing amazing for the past 2 months, I would say. Ever since that injury, he came back from injury. He was pretty okay, mediocre for 10 games, and he just struck lightning. He's been on fire. He's so fast. He's confident. He's scoring huge goals like in St. Louis and against the Anaheim Ducks. He had 2 goals. Just a really great addition to the lineup. And he clicks when other players that should be clicking aren't clicking, especially in Clayton Keller and Alex Galchenyuk. Well, Galchenyuk had a good couple weeks in February. I feel like he's been quiet the past week or two. But that's a good thing about this Coyotes lineup. If it's one player or one line that goes quiet, there's another line that comes right back in support and buries some pucks. And we're seeing that with Keller. He's not scoring. He's getting assists here and there, but Dvorak's picking up the pace. Panik, Hinostroza, Richardson, Grabner, the defensive core, Demers and OEL against Anaheim. So there's always someone to pick it up. Like Krause had a great January and Archibald had a great January, but they're starting to get more quiet. So, it's a team by committee. Everyone is picking up slack if someone's dropping it. And that's a great team. That's how great teams play, and that's how great teams get wins. I don't like how the Coyotes are playing lately, to be perfectly honest. That Calgary victory, the win against LA, The Chicago game obviously was bad, but even the St. Louis game and the Anaheim game, I feel like they're defending way too much, but they're limiting the great chances from the other team. They're keeping them to the outside. Kemper's sort of had to be called upon to make some big saves, but I just feel like they're too much in their zone, and they're not really driving and dictating the pace and having much offensive zone time. They're starting to score more off the rush, which is good, but I would like to see more O-zone time and more cycling and more hard hitting. I feel like they're kind of getting by in these games. They're managing to win, which great teams find ways to win. And finally, the Coyotes are finding ways to win without playing their best hockey, which was one of their problems for the past 2 seasons, is where they would only win games if they played perfect and they played 100% to Tocchet's system. Now they could play around like 85 to 90% and still win games. But I would like to see some more offensive flair to this team. The past 2 weeks, kind of iffy, but they're still winning games, still getting points, and that's all that matters. Derek Stepan, he's progressing. Maybe he'll come back with under like 7 games left in the season. But I need him in this lineup. I need Mario Kempe to either step it up or just get scratched or sit in the box. I know it's terrible to say, but man, this center depth with Kempe and Cousins, it's not going to bode well in the playoffs, that's for sure. I just hopefully Stepan could come back and fill those holes. And it's unfortunate that Schmaltz is still injured. Maybe he'll be back for playoffs. I doubt it, but some people might think otherwise. But yeah, I mean, Kempe's got to step it up. His points are low. His effort is low. I feel like it's disappeared. He had a good month, I think, in January, like I said, with Archibald and Krause, but his plays kind of tailed off. So he needs to step it up too. But not all doom and gloom. I mean, they're getting wins, victories. Like I said, they're 2 points back from the St. Louis Blues now for that first wild card spot. Dallas has leapfrogged into the 3rd spot into the Central Division. So I know the Coyotes are now leading teams in points, and they're being hunted for the spot. They're not chasing other teams now. So it's up to them. They gotta buckle down and get to work. It's going to be a crazy last 11 games. They got an Eastern road trip, one more to cap off the season, and let's get going here. Got to keep going, keep doing it. Just be more offensive. That's all I ask for. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support.